welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
First podcast that I've done with somebody that's not my roommate.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
So first and foremost, I want to thank you for being not only here, but part of the Patreon and the Baby Bats.
Of course.
It's very amazing, especially from a long-time friend.
Yes.
Which blew me away when we were talking about that the other day, that we've known each other for almost 10 years.
Yep.
Made me want to throw up.
Yeah.
So you do Vedic Astrology.
I sure do.
And before a couple weeks ago or whatever, I've never even heard of that.
Really?
Never even heard of it.
Okay.
So you're going to have to explain a little bit about what that is.
Okay.
And like you said, it's different from Western. So
Yes.
so tell us a little bit about like what is the origin? What's different about it? What is it?
So to start with, it's twice as old. So
Okay.
Western astrology is about 2,500 years old, and Vedic is at least 5,000.
Vedic.
Yes. So it's attached to the Hindu religion, but it's its own spiritual thought, of course. It's considered an occult practice, which is usually like a buzzword for people, but that just means it's secret. So it's not something that's well known. And the difference between the two is with Western astrology, it's based on the seasons and just the seasons alone.
Okay.
But with Vedic astrology, we use the actual constellations in the sky. So
Okay.
that's why we have things like nakshatras. So there's actually 108 signs total,
Wow.
not just 12.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the major difference. Also, you probably hear people say all the time, "What's your sign?"
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
asking your sun sign.
Okay.
But with Vedic, we go by your moon.
Okay.
And the reason that is because the moon is your inherent like soulful self. So it's more who you are instinctually.
Okay.
So when someone asks your sign with Vedic, they'd be asking for your moon sign rather than your sun. Because your sun sign, it's just your persona. It's more so your ego. So it doesn't really have to do with who you are as an individual, like within like on an emotional and mental level.
Sure.
Yeah, it's more just how you present yourself to people. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
it's more your ego.
So then you're telling me after all of these years, I may or may not actually be an Aquarius.
No, you're not an actual Aquarius.
What?
Yeah. You are actually a Capricorn.
What?
Yeah. But see, this is where
this
it gets
doesn't feel right to me.
but this is where it gets interesting. It'll resonate because when you look at the actual nakshatra of the type of Capricorn you are, it'll be more tailored to you as an individual. And that's when it starts to really resonate. So that's like that's the fine tuning is the nakshatras. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
It's just constellations. It's the
That's
actual
what that means.
constellations.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That are attached to the sign.
Interesting. That's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
very deep.
But like for the people that do, what would be the benefit of really getting into this and finding this stuff out on like a personal level or?
So I feel like there's a number of benefits. It can just give you clarity into who you are as an individual if you just want to look at it for that reason. There's a lot of things about your actual path in this lifetime. So if you believe in things like, multiple lifetimes and reincarnation, then a lot of people are curious, like, why am I here? You could find those answers in your chart, like with Vedic astrology. There's
Really?
a thing called your Atma Karka, which is your soul purpose. It's in people's chart. It's your highest degree planet. So you could look for things like your soul purpose. Why am I here? You could look for what your career is destined to be. Like that's attached to Saturn. That's your karmic career and like day-to-day work. Like I said, you could look for things with love, like actual timing for marriage, where to meet somebody, what your prospective spouse would be like. Like there's a lot of things that you could use it for. Like the possibilities are endless. Even land, like timing for buying land.
Really?
Yes. All of those things show up in people's chart.
And like, I mean, geez, I can't even comprehend that. Like,
Yeah.
like how does that work?
Oh, well, that's Mars. Mars is attached to land. Yeah.
So like each planet is attached to something different.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's
and
go
some
through
of
the
them more
planets.
than one thing.
All right, let's go through the planets.
Okay.
All right.
So the sun is attached to your father, and it's your persona as well, and like your egotistical identity. Your moon is attached to your mom. So all of those planets, those two, they will give you insight into your parents. Like if you just want to know things about them. And then the moon is also attached to like your soulful, emotional, and instinctual self. It's also how you think. So And if you're meant to be like in a career that has to do for nurturing people, the moon gives a lot of insight as well. And and things like psychic abilities.
Is this like where you tell me that everything I'm doing in my life is completely wrong?
No, I actually looked at your chart ahead of time. I came prepared, and I think you're pretty aligned with yours, actually. Okay. I'm excited to talk about that.
Okay, all right. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Mercury is attached to your siblings. And it's also attached to your children because it's a significator for children, and communication, marketing, writing.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
Well, so what if something like that, like, okay, what if you don't have siblings or you don't have kids? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, you still have.
It shows up in people's charts because, like I said, the planet has multiple uses, right?
Sure.
So if you don't have any siblings and we're looking at Mercury, then we could just know your communication style, because it tells your communication style. It can tell things about your education as well, like lower education, especially anything that has to do with high school or undergraduate degree.
All right.
Yeah.
Damn, crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So that was what, Mercury?
That was Mercury.
Right.
And Mars is attached to land, like we said, and your younger brother in specific, Mars is attached to. And it's attached to your primal force and your primal drive. So, like, I don't know if you've seen any of my videos. I was talking about Megan Thee Stallion.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, so I was talking about all of her diss tracks and the themes, and it's an indicator for your wife.
So is this stuff, like, always 100% on?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. It's at least, we like to say 99%.
Really?
Just because, yeah.
So, I mean, it's like...
Just to give the 1% in case you're dealing with someone who messes up.
Like somebody who's reading that messes
up?
Yeah,
someone who's reading makes a mistake. Yeah.
Interesting. But, like, you will find 100% answers in this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to if I'm being transparent and sharing a little. Like, my separation with my husband, I knew it was going to happen 2 years before it happened because of my chart.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were, like, prepared for it?
I was, but I was at a time where I felt like I could still change this. Yeah. Like, I could fight against it, free will, all of those things, and it still happened. Yeah. So that's when destiny kind of comes into play, whether or not you believe in that sort of thing. Yeah.
So you essentially take, like, clients,
yes,
more or less. Mm-hmm. And how often are they coming to you to do this stuff? Or how often would you say they should be coming to you to do this kind of stuff? Okay,
so, I mean, that's a good question, actually.
All of my questions are good questions.
I'm seeing that. I'd say for the major things, like if you get into a new relationship, I definitely think it's smart to consult an astrologer to make sure the timing is right. And if you're fortunate enough to know the person's birth chart information, to cross-reference the two so you can make sure that there's not some serious karma there. Because that manifests itself in people's charts.
So is this what you do every time you meet somebody now? You're like, hey, let's do a reading.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's how I'm gonna siphon out people that way, for sure.
Blind dates are just just readings?
Like, can I have your birth chart information? Because I need to cross-reference.
Yeah, make sure you bring your birth certificate.
Yes. What time were you born?
Yeah, where were you born?
I want to know all of that.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that'll tell you. You'll be like, no. You're like, I'm super into this person,
I don't need
super
to waste my time.
Yeah, but you're like, this seems great, but no, it's not going to work because you're a Scorpio.
Yeah, there's more to it than that. But
yeah.
There are certain planets you just don't want to be playing together in your charts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way.
Okay.
Shall we dive into what everybody's waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
Mine.
Your chart, yes. Because moon has to do with nurturing people, and you're dealing with that Jupiter transit. Moon's going to sit 12th from it. Mars will be there as well, which is a second indicator for your career. Mars is a second significator for it. So you can start a business that has to do with nurturing people, caring for people. And moon has to do with liquids.
Now,
specific.
Would you say kind of like what we're trying to do with the community in terms of like having people who support one another, building something that people can rely on each other and count on each other, but also would you consider the fact that I'm trying to do stuff like travel giveaways and trying to give
Makes
people
total
this
sense.
opportunity to do something life-changing for
Makes
themselves.
total sense because the 12th house also has to do with foreign cultures, foreign treks and travel, and it also is a part of the collective. So if you're helping people on a collective level, you're using that house. If it has to do with foreign travel, you're using that house. Foreign cultures, you're using that house. So giving away trips to people makes a lot of sense. And also trying to help people on a collective level, a large group of people. That's a part of the collective. So yeah, you're using it correctly.
It almost seems like I guess there's a chart there. It almost seems like there's a chart with a bunch of check boxes next to it, and like mine's all like checked down.
No, it's just a people being in alignment with themselves.
Yeah.
Not everyone is. Like, trust me, I do get some people who come to readings with me that I'm like, what are you doing with yourself? Like, basically, like, they're like, okay, I tried this. It's not working out for me. I try this. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's because you're not using any of your planets correctly. Right. Like, these people are probably just greatly out of touch with themselves. You know, so if you're somebody who really knows themselves and you take time for like introspection and reflection, it's easier to be in alignment with your planets.
Which is interesting because a lot of people do tell me that. A lot of people are like, it's very clear that you like are very in tune with who you are. Very comfortable with who you are as a person. Yeah.
K2 being in your ascendant too will make a person very intuitive because it has a lot to do with intuition and with the psychic.
I'll tell you right now, my intuition's on point.
It is.
I'll tell you because
it is.
I have like intuition about things that I'm like I almost want to tell you this story that
if you're comfortable, go for it.
You know, okay, I was with this girl one time for many years, like 5 years. And I had a feeling she was like lying and cheating, right? Mm-hmm. And we had broken up, and I knew that she was seeing a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I remember one day she texted me, and I said, hey, did you make it home safe? And she goes, yeah, I'm there right now. And that was weird to me. Because when you're somewhere, you say I'm
here.
Exactly. You don't say I'm there.
Yeah.
So I just had this like gut feeling. I was like, oh, she's lying to me. Because you don't say that, right? So my crazy ass drove by her parents' house where she was staying.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I just got to know if I'm right. Sure enough, she wasn't there. So I didn't know where this guy lived. Never been to his house. Never heard him talk about his house. And this was in Modesto. I lived in Ceres, right?
Okay.
So 20 minutes away from.
Yeah.
I kid you not. I got on the freeway. I drove to that dude's house.
Yeah, you just felt it.
I drove to his house. Like, I drove to his house.
No, I believe that.
And there was her car sitting out there next to his. And I was just like...
raging
how
inside.
How did I do that?
Yeah.
How did I do that? It was just pure intuition. It was just drive. Like, I need to know. And I got in my car.
Yeah.
I drove. I can't even explain it.
No, it makes total sense because besides K2 sitting in your first house, you have your Mars and your Moon 12th from Jupiter. And that's the house of the psychic, the subconscious, and your primal forces there. And Moon, which is your intuitive, instinctual self. And Moon is actually an aspect of your like intuition as well. So it strengthens it. So these people are extremely intuitive. They could like even have psychic gifts. So it might be why you just know.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain it to people. You just know. It makes sense too that purple's your favorite color because it's actually attached to the third eye, the third eye chakra, which is your psychic and your intuition. So you're drawn to the color because that's the type of person you are. You're very intuitive. You're in touch with your psychic abilities, whether or not you know you have them. You're in touch with them, so you're drawn to the color. Yeah, you probably have a purple aura. Like if someone were to read it.
How'd you do that?
Well, there is aura readers. I've had mine read,
Really?
and mine is blue and purple. Yeah.
And what does that mean?
So blue is like a nurturer, someone who like is always there for others. You know.
Why did I pick blue?
Well, you probably have blue in your aura.
But I picked blue for you.
Oh. Well, that's weird.
I picked blue for you.
Your intuition.
I picked blue for
Yes.
you. I went through all the colors and I was like, I bet blue would look good with her.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's your intuition.
That's weird because I literally sat there. I was like, red, blue, purple. I was like, I think blue would look good.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, she said I'm 60% blue and 40% purple. Yeah.
Wild.
Yep. So it's about nurturing. Like it's like these people make good mothers because they take care of people. Yeah. They like to take care of people. Of course, there's polarity to things, you know. So if someone's not using their aura correctly, they could use it badly. Yeah. Purple also is psychic and intuition. So these type of people are intuitive. They have psychic abilities. They just know. Yeah. So it makes sense. Yeah.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blown away.
That's good though.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's what this is about, right? It's about giving clarity to people in their lives. Yeah.
Let's kind of shift gears here real quick.
Okay.
I mean, unless there's anything else that you think we should talk about on this particular chart.
No.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to cut off anything.
No.
But how, I want you to talk a little bit about how people can get in touch with you to get this kind of stuff done.
Okay.
Like,
so
what is that process?
Well, I have a website
Okay.
for people to book with me, and it's on my Instagram, my link. So you could go on there and easily book, like, no problem. You just select whatever reading you want, and then just give me your birth info, which there's forms on there for that. And then I do FaceTime with people currently because I have a small enough clientele where I could still be that personal. Yeah. At some point, I'll probably have to send pre-recorded messages to people. But for right now, you get that intimacy of being on FaceTime with me, and we get to go over your chart.
We can collab on that too. We can film all your stuff.
Yeah. That would be really fun. Yeah. But yeah, I have a social media presence, so that's the main way to get a hold of me.
Okay. And what is it?
Spiritual Ashleisha. So spiritual_Ashleisha.
Okay. And I'll write that on the screen so people can go to it. And then I'll link it and all that stuff.
All that good stuff.
So, okay. And then just out of curiosity, you've got multiple different reading styles or whatever?
Oh, yeah. I have different techniques and that I use during readings if I feel they're necessary, of course. And I have different readings that I offer. So I have a general chart reading, which is just going over 7 of your major planets and 2 shadow planets. Shadow planets being Rahu and Ketu. So 9 planets total. And that's just giving you an overview of how they operate in your chart and telling you about yourself. If you want to ask 2 specific questions, I have a Ba chakra reading, which people can use. I do synastry readings on there and readings for a mother and their child right now.
And what would this one have been?
This would have just been a general reading.
General reading.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Yep. Giving you an overview of how all of the planets operate in your chart and things about yourself.
And what is that process? Is that usually like something that they give you and then you get back to them like in a few days?
No, people like schedule with me live. Like if they schedule with me at 3 p.m., then I FaceTime them at 3 and we go over their chart. When they book ahead of time, they leave their birth details. So I'm able to generate the chart ahead of time.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's what I'm asking. So like they give it to you one day and then when do you guys schedule for that?
Yeah. So they go onto the website and they book. And I have forms that automatically ask for their birth time and all of that. If they choose the Ba chakra reading where they have to have 2 specific questions, there's forms for them to put that on there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I'm able to look at it and have the answers ready.
Is there any of them that you prefer doing more than the others? Or like what's your favorite part about it?
I really like doing the general reading because I feel like a lot of people are naive to how the planets work, and especially the spiritual aspects and the nakshatras. Like people don't know anything about them because they're into Western astrology so much. So they don't know how personal it truly is. So I like to give people that foundation first before they start asking specific questions. Because I've noticed people that come without that understanding and just want the questions answered. I give them so much information that they're like kind of dumbfounded, Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
That's wild, man. Like, I've never been like, I don't want to say like I don't believe in it. Like I've just never had like, I've never gotten into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like one of those people that like, even with like religion and stuff like that, it's like, I don't not believe, but I don't have a belief.
Well, you have Mars in your 9th house. It causes people to not really be religious by nature.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, so it's like I've always had like this kind of like indifference on a lot of different things. Like, again, like I'm not saying like I don't believe anything, but at the same time, I don't have like a specific belief. You know what I mean? And so with stuff like this, it's crazy because like I didn't give you any of that information.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what you know about me from like, the times that we've known each other, but it's not that deep.
No, it's not that deep at all.
No. Yeah. So like, that's crazy to hear you say a lot of that stuff. And it's even crazier that I'm a psychic.
No, genuinely.
Yeah,
like you do have those capabilities. It's just whether or not you're nurturing them and using them,
So how do I nurture it and use it and turn it into just like full blown, like,
well, and genuinely
superpower?
A really good way to nurture your intuition and your psychic abilities is through meditation. Yeah.
Can I lift things with my mind?
Yeah, because you're vibrating at a higher frequency the more that you start to meditate, because you're emptying out basically and allowing yourself to get in touch with your higher self.
Right.
So you start vibrating at a higher frequency, and those gifts start to really like sharpen. I meditate every day.
Do you?
Yeah.
And what's that process for you? Like, how does that?
So I do a guided meditation right now. It's all about like who resonates with you. I like Sadhguru's meditation. So I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Is that the older dude?
Indian guy.
Yeah, Indian guy.
Yeah. Isha Kriya. I don't know if you've heard of his Isha Foundation.
Mm-mm. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So I started in 2023. I started meditating like a lot. Like, boom, the year started, and I was just fascinated with meditation. So I started looking into that, and I do Nadi Shuddhi every morning, which is a certain process of like blowing air out of your nostrils while you're meditating, and that's to make me vibrate at a frequency that's pleasant. And it actually makes people more receptive to me and more pleasant in nature. That's what the practice is for. So it's to give myself a better day, basically.
Interesting.
And then Isha Kriya is, this world's so stimulating. It's to kind of get back to center after being so overstimulated throughout the day.
Got you. Mm-hmm. So you do that at night?
Yes. That's how I get sleep. Because I was a major insomniac. By the way, that placement will make people a huge insomniac.
Which one?
Mars and Moon 12th from Jupiter.
Where I'm at?
Yes. People stay up late. Yeah.
I went to bed at 6 o'clock this morning.
There you go. Yeah. Make people a huge insomniac.
Yeah.
I have my Mars in the 12th house natally, so it makes me huge with insomnia, but it also makes people excel at an extreme rate with meditation. So if you do try it, you'll notice that you take off with it much faster than others.
You know, it's very interesting. What would that have to say about, though, like being an insomniac, but finding a way to not be through being peaceful or finding, does that make sense what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah.
It's like
what does it say about it?
Yeah. So like, I'm just curious because I have something in my head and I'm curious to see what you have to say about it. I just don't know if I'm asking the right question.
Well, basically, like if you're asking what I think you're asking, it's like I talked about the remedies. It's a remedy to the problem because, well, problem, issue, challenge, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Because like I said, with astrology, the actual purpose of it is for us to look at your chart and help you liberate yourself beyond your planets. So,
based off of that exact right there, that where that lies, where does that lie? What's the solution to that particular problem for me?
Meditating.
See, I wanted you to say something else.
Yeah, meditating.
I wanted you to say something else because I feel like the foreign travel.
Oh yeah, foreign travel, it definitely makes you feel more calm.
Yes.
And
because like I felt very much
at peace.
Yes. When I was in Japan.
Yeah, because moon is your inherent self.
Yeah, I slept every night.
You probably feel like, okay, so sometimes those placements can make people feel like where they're from natally, where they're born, that they don't belong here. They feel taboo, they feel out of place. So a lot of these people will move far away from home when they have that type of placement because foreign places feel like home to them.
Yeah.
Because moon is connected to the 4th house, which is home. So foreign places feel like home to you because it's 12th from Jupiter.
Which is very interesting too, because when I was younger, you know, I had this desire to, you know, obviously pursue the dream. And I remember feeling like, God, I just belong here when I went to like LA and Hollywood and stuff like this. You know, I just felt at home.
At home, yeah.
You know, and obviously I grew up and grew to not enjoy it as much, but
yeah,
for other reasons. But yeah, like, and it's not that I feel out of place necessarily where I'm at, but I definitely don't feel like it's where I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's home. It's home, but it's not home, you know? And when we were traveling, I just felt so calm. Like I felt, sure, I was worried about work, but not to the level I am when I'm at home. You know what I mean? I was just experiencing.
Well, it's funny. You actually have some placements in your chart that if you did move away from where you're born, your money would do better.
Say what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where do I need to go?
Oh, well, I could actually tell you directionally. That's the weird thing.
Let's find out.
Come on, let's look
directionally?
at it.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah,
If it says go east, I'm moving.
Right? Go east.
The far east.
That's the.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. As far as you want to take it, that's the funny thing.
Just a city over.
So, yeah, anything that's south of you, you're going to do better.
South. Mm-hmm. I don't like that.
Sorry. That's where your Saturn's forward progression
South is hot. I don't want to be in a hot area.
Right? Saturn's forward progression is in Earth sign. So there's different branches of astrology. So I know more than just regular Vedic. I know Nandi Nadi, which is another form of astrology. And there's certain signs that are connected to different directions.
Okay.
So the earth signs are connected to southern directions. Yeah. Yes.
Where would I go? South.
Yeah.
Mexico?
Texas.
Oh, God, no.
Florida.
See, I want to go north, man, like colder. That's what I can't do the heat.
That would be water signs. Yeah. I don't know how well that would do for you, to be completely honest. But like I said, Mars is a second indicator for your career, and it sits in a fire sign, so you could go east, actually. Yeah.
But southeast.
Yes.
What about just east?
If you use it, would already help, because Moon sitting in the 12th house will make like your investments flow out like water. Like I said,
I want them
so
to flow
as quick
in.
as you get them,
Yeah.
you lose them. And the 12th house is the house of losses. So to stabilize the planets, if you move to an eastern place, it'll stabilize it. Yeah. Especially if eastern sounds better for you, it still works because you have Mars and Moon, and 12th from Jupiter in a fire sign.
I was thinking Japan, but
which is connected to the east. It doesn't have to be in states, just east.
South, but it's not south though.
Yeah, south is connected to your Saturn, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing: it's not a one size fits all, or like you could only just use one, right? If you want to use your second indicator for career, you can. You can use it, and it'll still stabilize the losses.
Okay, so east works.
Which is east still works.
Very far east, all the way.
That's fine. And like I said, as long as it's foreign to you, which actually has to be at least crossing a state border or going into another country for it to suffice.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how you look at that, though, because that could be just west.
I guess. Now we're playing a little game here.
East before it becomes west? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good at those things.
Okay?
I'm good at astrology. I'm not good at geographics.
Geography.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, technically, depending on how you look at it, there is the border that separates the east and the west that is in the Pacific, technically making us the westernmost in Japan.
Okay, you know geography much better than I do.
Well, not easternmost, but yeah.
Just sad because my dad's a geography guy, but I
Yeah.
just didn't pick up on that.
He's so smart. That guy is like an everything guy, though.
Yeah, that's
so smart.
true.
Every time I talk to him, I'm just like, he could convince me that I'm not even me. But so is his
Right?
brother, though.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, that guy is so smart too.
So much that it's like he's speaking another language. It's so hard to communicate with him.
I mean, he's convinced me things I didn't even believe in. And I'm just like, I think I believe what you're saying. Like,
That is hilarious.
yeah, I mean, I
believe that, though.
Yeah, I've had conversations with him where I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what you just said to me, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So,
I believe that.
all right. Well, I think that puts us at our time. So,
Okay.
if you guys are interested in this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
head on over there, go
Please
book.
do.
Yeah, I would like to see everybody here comment in the comments and say, I went and booked. And compare. I want to see what you guys have in your readings and compared to what you just heard from mine. Even though she didn't want to go in depth that far with hers, so she wanted to dox me. That's okay. So now you guys have all of my information and can do what she didn't want done to her to me. So yeah. So thanks for that.
Hey, you gave me consent to look at your chart.
I did.
So
if you guys are seeing this is obviously the episode for YouTube. So head on over to the Patreon at patreon.com/BokeWahide for the full episode so you can see all the stuff. As a matter of fact, all of that doxing stuff that she just did, I'm going to put on Patreon. So if you're seeing this, you're not even seeing all the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
So head on over there, get that. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And if you guys are interested, maybe we should start doing more of this kind of stuff.
Heck yeah. I'd be down.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good.